Well, hello, folks. It's Wednesday, and it is time to rank another puzzle game for the Game Boy. Original monochrome variant thereof. We've currently got a list of 42 games. That's a very pleasant number for us nerds. And yeah, Tetris at the top. Frankie, Joe, and Dirk on the tiles at the bottom. And there's, to my knowledge, one other game that might be a contender for bottom spot. But that's not what we're playing today. Today we are playing Pocket Puyo Tsuu. And the name is supposed to be a pun because Tsuu kind of sounds like two, but I don't speak the language, so I don't know what the pun is. Anyway, we did play a variant of the original Puyo over here at number 31. If you'll recall, it was a perfectly serviceable port of a pretty good game that had some kind of... Okay, I say a serviceable port. It had some playability issues, particularly with sort of the monochrome screen and not really kind of working well within that particular limitation. And I believe I said at the time that the sequel kind of improved on all that. Well, we're gonna find out for sure today. Let's just go ahead and jump right on in and act against AIDS while we're at it. By Game Boy standards, we got pretty good audio. This is a 1996 Game Boy game, so they know the hardware pretty well at this point. And, well, I'm guessing this is multiplayer because Carbuncle won't open his mouth. So I assume this is options. And this is probably arcade mode. And I think that's normal difficulty. So as you can see right out the gate, with this one, they took the much more practical solution. Instead of using different shapes for the blobs, they're using a combination of shape and sort of patterns. And this again is to sort of make up for the lack of color in this version of the game. And so you sort of combine that with just kind of the general tweaks made to Puyo Tsuu that are... Wait, do I have I have experience points? I wonder what that does. Oh, I can push the button to stop that. Okay. Well, drat. As always, best laid plans ruined by garbage. Oh, no, I'll just go over here. Yeah, apparently I'm actually going to level up at a certain point. I got the tea-sipping skeleton. I vaguely know these characters, but, you know, not super well. Also, a bunch of them were in that game Mado Monogatari there that we attempted to play a while ago. There we go. So it probably looks like I'm way better at the game, but the truth is, this is just a way more playable version. Also, this game has plenty of time to get mean. Okay, I don't really know what I was planning there. Oh yeah, it's the guy with the one big foot, huh? Okay, I leveled up. Oh, so, okay. You're quite literally moving up a level. Yeah, and as soon as we did, look at how much more aggressive they are immediately. Look at those two cats go. messed that up. That's a good move, though. Yes, I am going to sit here and call out when I make a good move. I'm very impressed with myself. Ah, Fufu. Okay. So he's not the dancing fish. He's the other fish. The fish that doesn't dance. Thus making him far less interesting of a character. And yeah, I think the scales may have tipped. And this is the Puyo we're all familiar with. Oh. I don't think switching opponents is going to make a difference. I also don't know what my plan is here. Oh, I had an idea too late. I had another idea too late. Well, at least the interference didn't completely ruin my move. Just partially. Gotta be careful, because this guy... The way he's set up, if he gets one good combo, it's gonna be all over. Try to keep getting in his way. Oh, could be in trouble. So I had what would have been a pretty good move there. Unfortunately, all it really did was counter what he was about to throw at me. And here comes some more. And some more. And some more. And we're done. This is originally an arcade game after all, so they do kind of want the matches to end quickly. Kind of try to imitate his technique a little bit. It's not really working for me. We're pretty much done. One time. We'll give it one more go. Then we'll try the more single-player focused modes. I think this has. Well, so much for planning a big move. If I'm lucky, that might be enough garbage to mess him up. There we go. That was two kinds of lucky. I'm probably not going to stand much of a chance against these guys. Also, I think they introduced a new pattern here. So I don't remember these checkerboard things in the last one. Ah, crap. That would have been a good move. I have no idea how I succeeded there. Let's call it there for now and try some of the single player stuff. Okay, so I think this is just regular. Oh no, this is the garbage one. This is actually kind of my favorite way to play this game. So it's basically a single player mode, but as you're playing, yeah, I recognize that little tune from other compile games. So see, as you're playing, see, there's incoming attacks that are sort of coming from nowhere, and so it is still, you know, play as long as you can. But with the added wrinkle, that you do sort of have to contend with the garbage blocks at the same time. Even though they don't seem to be happening. That'll probably change. So like if I sit here and go and just oh, maybe there's an option that I need to flip in order for that to start doing something. Yeah, let's just... I'm gonna go... Oop! Didn't mean to do that, hang on. versus calm, normal. Okay, so we can set the game to easy, at least. Key assignment, number of sets. Message from Ah. Okay. Setting. Exit margin. Rule Henka off. I think that's the one I want to turn on. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So this is kind of my preferred way to play the game. Because I do like this as a single-player game. But it does need that little bit of extra something. Strictly speaking, I don't necessarily dislike the kind of versus mode of Puyo, but I mean, the CPU is just so merciless. One of the other things about this one is that when you're sort of moving your pieces into like a narrow space, you can actually double tap to kind of give it like a full rotation, instead of in the first game where it would just get stuck. Even though still 3 is my best combo. gotta admit too, though, the attacks here seem to be maybe a little more aggressive than they were in the console version. Still having fun, though. It does the thing where it speeds up when you're about to clear a stage and then slows down again when you do. I believe Tetris the Grandmaster has a similar thing, if I remember correctly. The big guy helps out. Well, that kind of messed up one of my other moves. That's fine. It's really more helpful than harmful, so... That actually worked in either direction. That's... Thought I'd messed up there. I might be getting a little too bold here. Kinda worked out. Carbuncle making 2 appearances, one after the other. Attack great. Well, as the recipient of the attack, I think I should be the judge of that. Did I deflect it in time? just gonna take a dive right here. There's not a whole lot of time left. But I do just want to see what happens. If we set versus calm to easy, what kind of difference does that end up making? might not be enough time to get far enough into the game to really find out. That's interesting. What are those? Weird. I've never seen that before. Did I accidentally turn that on in the options? I feel like stuff like that is, you know, like that's pretty standard in other kind of puzzle games of this style. But yeah, I've never seen that before. That's cool. I like it. was foolish. That was also kind of mean. You know, given that I was under the impression that I'd set the game to easy, that was pretty rough. Okay, I was dumb to hesitate. We need to act. The time to act has passed us by. Cool. Well, I wonder what caused those ice blocks. If that was like a character specific thing, or if that was something that like a button that I pushed, or that was kind of neat. Oh, but at any rate, let's get ourselves over here to the ranking window. Yes, I hear you, game. You're still running. I have a canker sore on the bottom of my tongue. So right out the gate, if we look over here, the other Puyo Puyo game for the Game Boy is at number 31. And that's largely on account of playability issues, specifically readability issues, because of the way the game was set up, where like everything was kind of just flat colors with very slightly different but difficult to tell apart shapes. And I think this version, where they put like the sort of the patterns on the pieces, it is a considerable improvement in terms of readability. And then it also just plays better. It looks better, it sounds better, it controls better. About the only really thing I could say against it, honestly, is the fact that you could be playing the Super Nintendo version, which is on NSO right now. You do have to kind of futz your way through Japanese menus, in order to play it, but I mean, it is this version of the game. And I know there's also a version for other systems. There's a Genesis version, but it's not as feature-rich. And, like, for me, I really like that sort of endless single-player, but with garbage that falls on you mode to the game. I think that's kind of my favorite way to play this. And even the newer games don't always have that. So yeah, this is one of my favorite versions of this game, and this Game Boy version is up there. So it was going to rank higher than the other one just by virtue of being more readable, but this is a considerably better version. The major downside being kind of the same major downside that you get with any version of this game, which is that the computer opponents are just brutal. You have a little more leeway in this one. There's more early stages. But yeah, once they get going, man, they're mean. Oh, it's not as good as Dr. Mario. Well, before we get to that, I'll say right out, comparable game, Sanrio Carnival, and this is much better than that. In just every category, this is a better game. So we are looking sort of in this range here. I would not put it above this version of Puzznic. Little something on the screen there. I would put it above Palamedes. Actually, this one's pretty straightforward because honestly, I would put this above Nonton. You know, that surprisingly good game, but this does have a little more going for it, a little more depth, a little more stuff happening. So, Pocket Puyo Tsuu. So congratulations to Pocket Puyo Tsuu. A top 10 game in the puzzle genre for the monochrome Game Boy. But, I mean, that's how it works, right? That's how all of this goes. And that's going to be me for this evening. I will be back tomorrow with some more live improvised music, back on Saturday with more music production. Let's see, I think he's probably, well, we're gonna give a raid to A-Word over here. He's playing some piano. And so, thanks for coming by, thanks for hanging out, thanks for watching, and as always, I do hope to see you next time. So bye for now.